Hi, Muchismo Eugene. Welcome to another video from Exit Strategy. Please like, subscribe, share. Give a thumbs up to this video if you found it beneficial, and pass it on if you believe someone else would benefit from it. I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Sunday. Sunday, what's that mean? It means it's just another day of the week. In many cases, for a lot of people, it's a holy day. For a lot of people, it is the last day of your day off, preparing to go back to the 9 to 5, although tomorrow is Memorial Day and most of the working class people have that day off. So notwithstanding it being Sunday, this is just another day that we should be blessed and grateful that we are able to breathe and wake up knowing who we are and be cognitive of what is going on around us. And if I haven't emphasized enough, this is a day that we should be very, very grateful and have a lot of gratitude because we are awakened to something in this world called narcissistic personality disorder, and we equally have escaped and detached from it with a newfound awareness of how this world is operating and the people in it. So let's talk about contractors. Now that you are awakened as an empath, chosen one, you're just in tune with all the phony foolishness that's going on. It happens right in front of you. You can see it and recognize it easily, or much easier than you did before, because you're very conscious. You're in tune with yourself first and foremost. So you're in tune with things all around you, and the things that don't really add up, they jump right out at you. You can see the facades people put up, even if you're just a casual observer and it doesn't involve you. You very well can see it a lot of times outside of your situation. That's where you see it most, because you're pretty much not affected by it as much as you were before directly. No one can really just jump in and come in and deceive you as easily as they did before, but you see it a lot outside of yourself. And I think that's why a lot of us content creators continue to push this content of awareness, because we see it happening outside of our situation more than we want to. And to sit there and just to allow it and stomach it is one thing, but not to speak out and make aware to people that otherwise wouldn't have an idea what they're experiencing, that's a whole nother situation. So we're very compelled. There's just something within us that drives us to keep doing this. If you didn't know, now you know. But contractors, I want you guys to think about this. Now that you're awakened, you've gotten the clutter cleared away from your life, and you're looking at, say, your house. Most often the narcissist brought in more than they took, more than they brought, and what they brought nobody wants, nobody needs, and nobody gives a damn to be interested in, especially if it's physical things, property. They wrecked your house. Your house fell apart. It was in dire need of maintenance, and the narcissist said, "Oh, I'll do that. You don't have to hire somebody to do that. I'll do it." And it never got done, especially if you're a female. And you can relate to this. You had this deadbeat, dead weight adopted child living with you. And so they procrastinated, and they pushed off things that they jumped up and said that they would do. But they intercepted your intentions to do things in your house and around your house to keep the maintenance going. They would jump and raise their hand to do it. But that only served to stagnate that thing. Say you needed a porch. You didn't need a whole porch when they came in 5 years ago. It was just a couple of boards need tightening up. And now the whole porch is falling apart because it's just rotted, and year after year after year, it's just from unattended maintenance. And so now you have them out of your life and out of your way. And you can see and visit these things, such as the siding, such as the porch, such as the stairs, such as a railing, such as painting the house. You see all of these things that need attention, and you're thinking about, wow, I've gotten over that one hurdle. Now I need to manage my house in the way that I intended to before. And so you reach out to contractors or someone that you believe that can do this job. Now, this video serves to keep you guys very in tune with the fact that you're awakened, but you do not let your guards down. That contractor don't know you. They don't even know what you've experienced by way of a narcissist. But let me tell you something. Contractors at large are narcissists. Many of them. They are in every facet of life. Let me rephrase it. They're not just, they're very prevalent. They're prevalent in this day and time. Not that they never were before, but with the developments and the things that I'm hearing in the papers, in the news that, I read on my phone. I said I don't watch mainstream TV, but there are things that capture my attention. And this is why I want to make this video. There are contractors that are not only not doing some of the work or one or two things that they promised to do for the customer, but what they are doing in a very malicious, premeditated, methodical way is coming in, getting big retainers, down payments, installments, deposits, whatever you want to call them, in exchange to start the work. And many of them don't start the work. A lot of them start the work and leave and abandon it. And the customers reach out and they're trying to get these people on the phone, trying to make contact. A lot of them will blow the customer off and give them excuse after excuse, and the customers fall for it. This is much like the relationship you were in with the narcissist, when they promised to do things and they never delivered, but they gave you a story and we fell for it. It's no different with contractors. The biggest difference is if there is a difference with contractors as opposed to that intimate relationship you were in, is just another individual. That's the only difference. You may not be intimately or romantically involved with them, but what they are doing in very stark parallel, they are working on your nerves, just like the narcissist did. They are working on your emotions. They are working on deceiving you in the same exact fashion. Only thing's missing is the romantic tie or the intimate tie. And in many cases, if you want to talk about intimacy, it doesn't even always include sexual interaction. Intimacy is sometimes when you form a very, very beautiful relationship with another person. So in many cases, you do form an intimacy with your contractor in that respect, notwithstanding sex, okay, or exclusive of sex or any of that romantic type of stuff. But your intimacy is forming a very, very beautiful relationship to the point where you would even invite the contractor to have a plate of food. You would even take him a beer or a soda or a glass of lemonade. You would allow them to even use your pool if it's a hot day out and they're working outside doing the porch that got neglected by the narcissist you were with. There are some people are just that gracious. Oh, we're going to be out for the weekend, but if you guys want to take advantage of the pool, go right ahead. We trust you. That's the intimacy I'm talking about. So they do, in fact, form intimate relationships with their contractors as well. So staying on point, this video is served to inform you and keep you in tune with the fact that now you're about to invest a big chunk of money in a financial decision that you tried to make years ago when you were with the narcissist. And not only did they push off getting the porch fixed or put nails or screws in those two planks that were loose, they siphoned a lot of times the money that you were going to use for that porch. And most often it was diverted to them. And that porch never got fixed. Oh, I can go to the hardware store and do that. And for some reason, they came back and they told you, well, they're out of stock. They don't have the lumber. Guy told me they'll be bringing another truckload in 2 weeks. Oh, let me use this $50. I need to go and do this. You know, I'll give it back to you. And 2 weeks come around and you're asking them nonchalantly, oh, are you going to go down to the hardware store and get that lumber? You got the cash? Oh, man, something else comes up. So it's excuse after excuse after excuse. So back to the contractors. They're here. Now they're trying to establish some type of deposit from you. And I need for you to hear me very well here. About the news and the phone, I was looking on my phone, and what you're seeing very, very rampant right now, especially in this upstate New York area, and I'm sure it's happening all over the world because pandemic, you remember a lot of people ran off with a lot of people's money in this pandemic. We had hurricanes, these natural disasters. You are vulnerable in these times. Say your roof, a part of your roof got ripped off and you have a leak. Some often tarp their roof, but it has to be addressed because one small leak can ruin your whole house. So you're desperate. And a lot of times you can't wait and find reputable roofers. And so what you do out of desperation, you hear about this roofer from word of mouth. Now, I understand that position, but what I am saying, be very conscious of people getting retainers, deposits, and different things like this and haven't performed any of the work, especially if you don't know them from a can of paint. And the thing is, what I'm reading about in these stories are these contractors are methodically, premeditatively, on purpose, getting tens of thousands of dollars from customers and not rendering any services, if at all, little or to no services. But now what they're doing is they're getting nabbed because customers are not taking it. They are reaching out to authorities. And when they reach out to authorities, lo and behold, these guys, these contractors in questions have a pattern. And there are other people that are coming forward. So there's a dragnet that's being exercised out here. And there are a couple of these guys are going to prison for 3 to 4 to 5 years, and they've gotten away with $50,000 to $100,000. Now, you're dealing with narcissists, for sure. And a lot of times these contractors, they are very heavily into alcohol abuse, drug abuse, because a narcissist is a manipulator of the worst kind. And they are so gung-ho that they're getting over on people. Sometimes they celebrate their manipulation by getting involved into alcohol and drugs. And that's their demise. That's their demise because they get too comfortable doing their demonic destruction, I would say. Their destruction of mankind. Every time they're doing this stuff, they get high off of it. And so they tend to be drug addicts and alcoholics. And if you've ever been around a contractor at your house or doing something at your neighbor's house and they're just so loud and they're playing the radio so loud, they're just like they've set up camp for that period of doing that repair or that construction at a neighbor's house. But they're superimposing because now the whole neighborhood is in an uproar because of them. And what do most people do? They dismiss it because they say, oh, they're not going to be here but a week or two. But they're obnoxious, very obnoxious. And so they're taking a lot of innocent, innocent, gullible people's money. And so this video is serving to tell you that you need to be not only mindful of just the average person you're dealing with in society, in and around your space. You have to be leery of people who are not rendering services. If you should need an AC, refrigeration guy, a lot of these roofers, like I was mentioning before I got sidetracked, the roofers are taking the money and running. They're putting a tarp on that damaged part of that roof, having you believe that they're going out to buy this material and they're coming back to start that job. So what I would encourage you to do, how do you combat that? If they would ask for a deposit, this is what I do. And I've asked for deposits, and I've never really had any big issues with rendering the work to the customer. I've had a lot of customers, well, not a lot, a handful of customers that often, they weren't satisfied with the work, and to which I tried to make it right. That happens, and most often you're okay with that because we're not perfect people. But the big difference is I've never taken people money and ran off, and I really do want you guys to understand that there are people that are doing this, and they're doing it like nobody's business. So what would be an antidote to that is suggest to them that you will purchase the material. And because a lot of times they'll give you a quote with materials included. And if you don't know about material and you don't have the time, a lot of times you have time constraints. You can't really go out and do this footwork for yourself. So you negate them to do it. So, okay, that being in mind, you tell them to write up a total of materials, where they're going to get them at, and you will call that in through a credit card for pickup in your name. This way you have a paper trail of those expenditures, and that's ran through your account. So when and if there should happen to be any discrepancies where they try to screw you around, you have that paper trail, and these materials were bought in your name under your account. This further ups the ante of that charge that's going to be rendered against them if they get caught. And in many cases, you can communicate between that supplier and yourself as trying to get some kind of restitution if that contractor hasn't ran off with all of that material. Let's say he has ran off with that material and there's no material to be had. Again, you have that credit card purchase, you have your name on that, and you also have, if they picked it up, you have them signed off on it to pick it up. So you have the smoking gun you need, as opposed to you giving them a retainer. A lot of times they'll take a cash retainer and they'll give you a break on the tax. They'll say, no tax, give me cash. And it would serve you well to get something in writing with a signature on it. And I would propose, go to Staples or any of those other outlets, office outlets, and get a receipt book. Keep a receipt book on your person, because a lot of times they'll tell you, oh, I don't have my receipt book on me. And you'll say, just write it on a piece of paper. Okay, that's better than nothing. But if you have a receipt book, what that shows them is you're not playing no games. You're keeping receipts, literally and figuratively. And see, when they see that you are going to, keep receipts, they are leery of trying to shuffle you around. So these are just little things that you can do to protect yourself. But the whole premise of this video is I need for you guys, now that you're out of this abuse with a narcissist, don't let your guards down, because they're coming for you. And a lot of times they're coming for you in the name of contractors, servicemen, landscapers like myself. And I just have to speak about this, guys, because there is no stone that the narcissist won't turn when it comes to deceiving, manipulating, and just plain old simply taking your money and leaving you in despair. Because really, it's not even the money. They get a kick and a rise out of doing people dirty, to see your reactions, to know in the back of their mind that they got over on you, and imagining how it's making you feel and how it's causing you to be at a low vibration. Truth be told, that is the premise of what a narcissist does and why they do it. They really just want to bring you down. And many times they will leave you in financial distress. But the biggest reason why they do what they do. They want to see you down and out. That being said, bless.